Welcome. Tonight, let your mind drift into the quiet corners of the English language. You're about to hear a collection of rare and beautiful words, each one chosen for its uniqueness, its sound, and the way it settles gently on the tongue. There's no story to follow, no plot to remember, just a slow, peaceful unfolding of language, designed to lull you to sleep. The images will stay dark, but whimsical. The words will flow, and all you have to do is listen. Let's begin. Tabacosis, tobacco poisoning, tabanid, blood-sucking insect, gadfly. Tabard, short-sleeved garment worn over armour. Tabaret, striped watered silk and satin fabric. Tabatier, snuff box. Tabby, plain woven silk taffeta fabric. Tabefaction, wasting away, emaciation. Tabellary, auditor, carrier of letters. Tabellion, scrivener. Tabernacle, ornamental container for storing communion bread and wine. Tabernacular, of like or pertaining to a tabernacle. Tabescent, wasting, shrivelling. Tabific, wasting, consumptive, producing tabes. Tabinet, silk and wool, watered fabric. Tablature, mental image or picture, plate-like surface or object. Tablier, apron, part of dress resembling an apron. Tabloidese, language typical of tabloid journalism. Tabor, light medieval drum buckled onto the player's chest. Tabaret, low stool, embroidery frame. Tassender, things not to be mentioned. Tassent, silent. Tach, link. Tachyometer, instrument for rapidly measuring survey points on a map. Tachism, painting by smearing or splattering. Tachistoscope, instrument for rapidly showing images on a screen to test perception. Tachograph, instrument for recording speed of rotation. Tachometer, instrument for measuring speed of rotation. Tachygraphy, shorthand. Tachymetry, measurement of speed. Tachyphrasia, abnormally rapid or voluble speech. Tachyscope, early cinematograph. Tachytelic, of evolution, at a rate faster than normal for a group of plants or animals. Taction, contact, touch. Tactometer, instrument measuring sense of touch. Tactual, of, like or pertaining to or derived from the sense of touch. Tania, band, tapeworm, fillet. Taenia seed, killing of tapeworms. Taeniate, like a ribbon or tapeworm. Tanioid, of a ribbon-like shape. Taffeta, thin glossy silk. Taffrail, rail round the stern of a ship. Tagaeum, ancient divination method of Scottish Highlands. Tagmeme, analysis of arrangement of spoken elements. Tar, wild Asian goat with shaggy reddish coat. Tane, tin foil used as backing for mirror, thin tin plate. Taj, crown or headdress. Takin, heavily built Himalayan goat-like ruminant. Talalgia, pain in heel or ankle. Tala, ankle-length robe. Talaric, of, like, or pertaining to, or reaching the ankles. Talligrade, walking on the outer side of the foot. Talionic, retributive, like for like. Taliped, one with a club foot. Tallage, feudal tax of a lord on tenants, any tax or toll. Talliate, to impose a tax. Talpa, mole or similar mark on the body. Talus, rock detritus or debris at the base of a slope. Tamandua, arboreal New World anteta with hairless tail. Tamaraw water buffalo, tambur, sloping buttress or fortification, tamburica, guitar or mandolin of the Balkan region, tamin, thin glazed worsted, tamis, thin wool, tampion, protective plug placed in mouth of gun or cannon, tannacles, pincer-like instruments of torture, tandem, two-seated carriage with horses harnessed in series, tandem, one behind the other, tango receptor, sensory receptor responding to touch, tanistry, succession by previously elected relative, tanquam, a person fit for college education, tantalus, locked case used to hold wine bottles, tanti, worthwhile, tantiem, share of profits or royalties, tantivy, at full gallop, headlong, taperer, one who bears a taper during a religious procession, taphophobia, fear of being buried alive, taphrogenesis, vertical movement of the Earth's crust, tapinosis, use of degrading or diminutive diction regarding a topic, tapotement, use of light taps in massage, tappet, crested, tapple, central ridge of the breastplate of armour, taradiddle, senseless talk, deception, nonsense, tarantas, four-wheeled carriage mounted on poles, tarantella, fast violent Italian folk dance, tarantism, irresistible urge to dance, tarosis, hysteria suffered by a man, tardigrade, slow-paced, tardiloquent, speaking slowly, tarlatan, thin, sheer, stiff cotton, tarpan, small wild horse of southern Russia, taradiddle, lie, falsehood, nonsense, fib, tarriance, act of tarrying or delaying, procrastination, tarish, of the quality or consistency of tar, tartarology, beliefs about hell or the underworld, tasiometer, instrument for measuring stress in a structure, tasimeter, instrument for measuring changes in pressure, tassa, one of a series of armor plates that go around the hips like a skirt, testivin, wine taster, tatonement, experimentation, trial and error, tattoo, armadillo, tatterdemalion, tattered, ragged, scarecrow-like, tattersall, fabric with a small checked pattern, taupe, brownish-grey, taurian, of, like or pertaining to a bull, tauricide, killing or killer of a bull, tauricornus, having horns like a bull's, tauriform, having the form of a bull, taurine, of like or pertaining to bulls, bull-like, tauromachy, bullfighting, tauromorphous, bull-shaped, tautocronus, lasting the same amount of time, tautological, repetition of an idea implied in a statement, tautomerism, possession of more than one structure by a substance, tautonym, taxonomic name in which genus and species are the same, tautophony, repetition of the same sound, taur, to prepare skins by soaking, salting, stretching and paring, taws, thong used for punishment, taxaceous, of, like or pertaining to yew trees, taxeme, a basic unit of systems of classification, taximeter, instrument for measuring fee for hired vehicle, taxes, movement of a whole organism, Tera, small South American weasel-like carnivore, taza, cup with saucer-shaped bowl on a pedestal, teasel, brush with hooked bits used in napping cloth, technocracy, government by technical experts, technography, description of arts and crafts, technolithic, of, like or pertaining to stone tools, technomania, craze for technology, technonomy, laws of industrial arts. Technophile, one who is fond of technology. Technophobia, fear of technology. Technopole, place where high technology industries located. Technology, teaching of children. Tectiform, shaped like a roof. Tectonic, of, like or pertaining to building, structural. Tectonics, science of structure of objects, buildings and landforms. Tectorial, covering. Tectosphere, part of the earth that moves during plate tectonic activity. Tectrix, small feather of a bird's wing. Ted, to spread grass for drying. Tediferous, bearing a torch. Teen, injury, grief. Teg, a sheep in its second year, the fleece of such a sheep. Tegestology, study and collecting of beer mats. Tegmen, covering or shell. Tegmental, of, like or pertaining to coverings or outer shells. Tegmenal, covering, protecting. Tegula, tile. Tegula, of, like or overlapping like tiles or slates. Tegulated, composed of plates overlapping like tiles. Tegument, natural covering of an animal or plant body. Tychopsia, visual blurring and colours associated with migraines. Tychoscopy, observation from the perspective of a wall. Tenoscope, prism telescope. Tej, Ethiopian honeymead. Technonomy, the naming of the parent from the child. Telesthesia, perception of events or objects not actually present or near. Telemon, a column carved in the shape of a human male. Tellarian, creature that spins a web. Tellery, web spinning. Telautograph, telegraph that reproduces writing done with a pen or pencil. Telega, four-wheeled springless wagon. Telegnosis, knowledge of events taking place far away. Clairvoyance. Telegony, influence of previous mate on offspring of current one. Telematics, transmission of computerized data over long distances. Telemeter, instrument for measuring strain or distance from observer. Telenergy, application of spirit energy at a distance. Teleology, study of final causes, analysis in terms of purpose. Teleonomy, characteristic of being governed by an overall purpose. Teleorganic, vital. Telogy, physical force at work in telepathy. Teleseism, tremor due to a very distant earthquake. Telesis, making use of natural or social processes for a goal. Telespectroscope, instrument for analyzing radiation emitted by distant bodies. Telestereoscope, instrument for viewing distant objects stereoscopically. Telesthesia, abnormal impression of objects beyond the senses. Telestic, of, like or pertaining to the mysteries. Telestic, poem where final letters of each line spell a word. Teletactor, instrument that allows deaf people to feel sound vibrations. Telic, expressing purpose. Purposive, signifying intention. Telegraph, signalling apparatus like a semaphore system. Tellural, of, like or pertaining to the earth. Tellurian, terrestrial. Tellurometer, instrument using microwaves to measure distance. Telmatology, study of swamps. Telodynamic, of, like or pertaining to transmission of power to a distance. Telos, aim, purpose, ultimate end. Teleteuropathy, telepathy between living persons. Telferage, system of cargo conveyance using electric motor and cable. Telson, last segment of a crustacean. Temenos, place dedicated to a god, sacred precinct. temerarious, rashly or presumptuously daring. Tempera, painting using white of egg instead of oil. Temperative, having a moderating influence. Tempestive, timely, seasonable. Temporal, indicating time when. Temporaneous, lasting only a short while. Tempore, in the time of. Tempericide, killing time. Temporize, to delay, to procrastinate. Temulance, intoxication. Tenaculum, pincers. Tenai, outwork in the main ditch of a fortification. Tendentious, designed to advance a cause. Tenderometer, instrument for measuring tenderness of fruits and vegetables. Tenebrific, producing darkness. Tenebros, dark, gloomy. Tenendum, clause in a deed defining land tenure. Ten, heraldic designation for orange-brown colour. Tenon, projecting part of joint for inserting into mortise. Tenrec, spiny insectivorous mammal of Madagascar. Tensimeter, instrument for measuring vapour pressure. Tensiometer, instrument for measuring tension. Tentamen, experiment, attempt. Tentation, experiment by trial and error. Tentiginous, lust-provoking. Tentillo, priapism, morbid lasciviousness. Tenue, bearing, a carriage, manner of dress. Tepefaction, making or becoming tepid. Tephra, ash and debris ejected by volcano. Tephrochronology, dating of volcanic eruptions by studying layers of ash. Tephromancy, divination by ashes. Tephrosis, incineration. Tepa, state of being tepid or lukewarm. Terramorphous, of abnormal or monstrous form. Terratism, monster, malformed person or animal. Teratogenic, producing monsters or abnormal growth. Teratoid, monstrous. Teratology, study of monsters, freaks, abnormal growths or malformations. Terse, prayer service held at 9 a.m. Tercel, male hawk. Tercet, group of 3 rhyming lines. Terdiurnal, 3 times per day. Terebrate, to bore into, to pierce. Terate, smooth and cylindrical or tapering. Tergal, of, like or pertaining to the back. Tergiversation, equivocation. Termagant, an overbearing or nagging woman. Terminative, indicating motion up to or time until. Terminism, doctrine that there is a time limit for repentance. Ternary, in threes, having 3 components, having 3 as a base. Terotechnology, use of various skills to extend life of equipment. Terpodion, piano-like instrument whose sound is made from wooden blocks. Terpsichorean, of, like or pertaining to dancing. Terraceous, earthen. Terracotta, reddish-brown. Terramera, kind of earthy fertilizer. Terraneous, of, like or pertaining to the earth. Terraqueous, amphibious, consisting of land and water. Terrazzo, flooring of chips of marble. Terrella, magnetic model of the earth. Terremative, seismic. Terrene, of the earth. Earthly, worldly, mundane. Terraplene, top of a rampart where guns are mounted. Terret, swivel ring, ring for fastening chain to. Terricolous, living in or on the soil. Terrier, register or roll of rents from an estate. Terrigenous, produced on land, produced by the land. Terrigenous, earthborn, derived from the land. Terrine, earthenware jar or dish. Terrascent, having a terrible sound. Terry, piled fabric consisting of uncut loops. Tersive, cleansing, detersive. Terzane, stanza of 3 lines. Tesla, unit of magnetic flux density equal to 1 Weber per square meter. Tesseraglot, speaking 4 languages. Tessellate, to form into or adorn with mosaic. Tessellation, fitting together exactly, leaving no spaces. Tessera, small token or ticket, block of stone used in mosaic. Password. Tesseract, figure of a cube within a cube. Tesserarian, of, like or pertaining to dice games. Tesseratomy, division into 4 parts. Testaceous, of or having a hard shell. Brick red. Testamur, certifikat om att ha bestått en examen. Tester, canopy over a bed, pulpit or altar. Tester, piece of armour for the head, headgear for a horse. Testicond, having the testes concealed within the body. Testudinal, of, like or pertaining to tortoises or tortoise shell. Testudo, wheeled shelter used for protection from above attacks. Tetanigenous, causing tetanus. Tetchy, irritable. Tetrachotomous, divided into 4s. Tetrachromatic, concerning theory that there are 4 primary colours. Tetradarchy, government by 4 people. Tetrarchy. Tetragrammaton, sacred word or acronym of 4 letters. Tetrachexahedron, cube with pyramid erected on each face. Tetralemma, quandary with 4 alternatives. Tetramerus, having 4 parts. Tetramorph, artistic representation of the 4 evangelists in one figure. Tetrapod, quadruped. Tetrapolis, group of 4 cities. Tetrapteron, having 4 wings. Tetratic, hinged painting in 4 parts. Tetrarchy, government by 4 people. Teuthology, study of cephalopods. Teutomania, obsession with Teutonic or German things. Tuel, a chimney, the rectum or anus of a horse. Textology, study of the production of texts. Textorial, of, like or pertaining to weaving. Textrine, of like or pertaining to weaving. Textuary, a person having extensive biblical knowledge. Thalassian, marine, type of sea turtle. Thalassiarchy, sovereignty of the seas, thalassocracy. Thalassic, marine, of seas, of inland seas. Thalassocracy, sovereignty of the seas. Thalassography, science of the sea. Thalassometer, instrument for measuring tides. Thalassophilus, living in or fond of the sea. Thalassophobia, fear of the sea. Thalassotherapy, medical treatment using baths in seawater. Thalophagus, feeding on fresh vegetable matter. Thalposis, sensation of warmth. Thalweg, middle of navigable waterway used as boundary line. Tamin, small deer with curved horns native to Southeast Asia. Thanatism, belief that the soul dies with the body. Thanatognomonic, indicating or characteristic of death. Thanatography, narrative of a death. Thanatoid, apparently dead. Deathly, deadly. Thanatology, study of death and its customs. Thanatomania, belief that one has been affected by death magic and resulting illness. Thanatophobia, fear of death. Thanatopsis, view of or reflection upon death. Thanatosis, gangrene, necrosis, state imitating death. Thanatusia, funeral rites. Thaumatogeny, doctrine of the miraculous origin of life. Thaumatography, description of natural wonders. Thaumatology, worship of miracles or wonders. Thaumatology, study of miracles. Thaumatrope, gadget showing persistence of visual impressions using spinning disc. Thaumaturgy, performing of miracles. Theandric, divine and human at the same time. Theanthropic, simultaneously human and divine. Theanthroposophy, system of belief concerning Christ as God and man. Thearchy, rule by a god or gods, body of divine rulers. Theatrocracy, government by gathered assemblies of citizens. Theatromania, craze for going to plays. Theca, sheath, capsule. Thecate, having a sheath. Theftuous, thievish. Thegosis, tooth grinding in order to sharpen teeth. They form, of the form of tea. Theism, belief in the existence of God without special revelation. Thelematic, of like or pertaining to will or volition. Voluntary. Thelemic, allowing people to do as they wish. Thelemite, libertine. Thelitis, inflammation of the nipple. Thelitoki, parthenogenetic production of females only. Theocentrism, belief that God is central fact of existence. Theocracy, government by priests or by religious law. Theocracy, mixture of religions, fitting other religions into own. Theodicy, defense of goodness in view of the existence of evil. Theodidact, student of God, one who is taught by God. Theodolite, surveying instrument for measuring angles. Theody, hymn in praise of God. Theogamy, marriage of gods. Theogonic, accounting for the origin or presence of gods. Theolepsy, seizure or possession by a god. Theologaster, petty or shallow theologian. Theologumenon, theological statement as opposed to divine one. Theomachy, war amongst or against the gods. Theomancy, divination by means of oracles. Theomania, belief that one is a god. Theomastics, punisher of mortals sent by God such a punishment. Theometry, measurement or estimation of God. Theomecrist, one who belittles God. Theonomy, government or rule by God. Theopantism, belief that God is the only reality. Theopathy, emotional experience brought on by religious belief. Theophagy, sacramental consumption of a god. Theophany, manifestation or appearance of a god to people. Theophilanthropism, love of both God and humanity. Theophile, one who loves or is loved by God. Theophobia, fear of God. Theophorus, having the name of a god, derived from a god's name. Theopneustic, divinely inspired. Theopsychism, belief that the soul is of a divine nature. Theorbo, large double-necked lute. Theosophy, immediate divine illumination or wisdom. Theotechny, use of the gods as primary moving force in a poem or play. Theotherapy, faith healing. Theotokos, title given to the Virgin Mary as bearer of God. Therblig, unit of work for quantifying industrial operations, thereinto, into that, or it. Theremin, electronic instrument with tones created by placing hands near oscillators. Theroid, bestial, savage. Theriology, therapeutics. Thereon, thereupon, therewith, thereupon, forthwith. Therewithal, besides. Theriac, antidote to venomous bites. Theriacal, of, like or pertaining to antidotes. Therianthropic, combining human and animal forms. Theriatrics, veterinary medicine. Theriodic, malignant. Therogenology, study of animals' reproductive systems. Theriolatry, animal worship. Theriomorph, animal form in art. Theriomorphosis, transformation into a beast. Therm, unit of quantity of heat equal to 100,000 British thermal units. Thermesthesia, sensitivity to heat or cold. Thermantidote, apparatus for cooling air. Thermic, of, like or pertaining to heat. Thermogenesis, production of heat. Thermograph, instrument for recording changes in temperature. Thermography, writing or drawing using the influence of heat. Thermokinematics, study of motion of heat. Thermolabel, easily decomposed by heat. Thermology, study of heat. Thermolysis, decomposition caused by heat. Thermometrograph, instrument for recording changes in temperature. Therminus, of, like or pertaining to stimulation by heat. Thermophilus, preferring or thriving in high temperatures. Thermopyle, instrument measuring minute changes in temperature. Thermoplagia, sunstroke. Thermoscope, instrument indicating change in temperature. Thermotaxis, movement influenced or controlled by heat. Thermotropism, growth of organism influenced by heat. Theroid, of, like or pertaining to a beast or wild animal. Therology, study of wild mammals. Thesitical, scurrilous, violent in manner of speech. Thesial, of, like or pertaining to a thesis. Thesmothete, lawgiver. Thetic, positively asserting, bearing the thesis, prescribed. Theurgy, magic or miracles by the agency of good spirits. Theui, pillory for women that keeps the legs together. Thyasus, group of worshippers gathered to dance in praise of gods. Thigmotaxis, movement of plant towards or away from an object. Thigmotropism, turning of an object in response to touch. Thionic, of, like or pertaining to or containing sulphur. Thirdborough, petty constable of a township. Thirdendial, old liquid measure of 3 pints, 1/3 of anything. Thither to that place. Thixotropy, temporary reduction in viscosity when shaken or stirred. Thlipsis, constriction, compression. Thnetopsychism, belief that the soul dies with the body to be reborn on day of judgment. Thole, pin in the side of a boat to keep oar in place. Thole, to endure, to suffer. Tholobate, circular substructure on which a dome rests. Tholoid, dome-shaped lava extrusion plugging the vent of a volcano. Tholus, round building, dome, cupola. Thoid, like a wolf. Thoracoscope, instrument for viewing the thorax and chest wall. Thorn, letter in Old and Middle English representing unvoiced, the sound. Thoughtography, supposed technique for transferring mental images onto photographs. Thrasonic, boastful, bragging. Thrematology, science of breeding domestic animals and plants. Threnetic, mournful. Threnodic, mournful. Threnody, ode or song of lamentation, lament, dirge. Threpsology, science of nutrition. Threptic, of, like or pertaining to the rearing of young. Threobole, divination using pebbles. Throw, through, throat pit, depression between collarbones where they meet the breastbone. thrombus, blood clot, thronal, of, like or pertaining to a throne, throttle, throat or windpipe of an animal, throstle, machine for drawing, twisting and winding fibres, throttle bottom, harmless incompetent holding public office, thrum, loose thread or fringe of a garment or cloth, thumomancy, divination by means of one's own soul, thurible censer, thurifer, altar boy who bears censer, thuriferous, incense-bearing, thurl, cow's hip joint, thyestian, cannibalistic, thylacine, extinct dog-like marsupial of Tasmania, thymotechny, use of perfumes for medicinal purposes, thymeaterian, ancient Greek censor, thymogenic, due to emotion, thymoleptic, psychologically energizing, thymopathy, mental disorder, thyrsus, staff wreathed with ivy, tiara, three-tiered crown worn by or carried in front of the Pope, tibia, ancient Roman flute, to bisinate, to play on a pipe, ticarine, woolly rhinoceros, tick, cover of a mattress or pillow, ticking, strong linen or cotton fabric used for mattress and pillowcases, tidology, study of tides, tiffany, transparent silk-like gauzy fabric, tigerism, swagger, tigrine, of, like or pertaining to tigers, tilbury, light open two-wheeled carriage, tilde, mark indicating approximation, or, over a letter, nasalization or palatalization, tiller, handle or lever for turning a ship's rudder, tillal, pale yellowish green, tilth, agricultural work, tiltmeter, instrument for measuring tilting of Earth's surface, timarchy, government by the property class, timocracy, timble kettledrum, timberhead, top end of ship's timber used above the gunwale, timbrel, tambourine-like percussion instrument, timbrology, study of postage stamps, timbromania, craze for stamp collecting, timbrophily, love or fondness for stamps, stamp collecting, timbrous, resonant, sonorous, timnagee, rope stretched from place to place in a ship, timeous, in good time, seasonable, timocracy, government by the propertied class, timoneer, helmsman, timwhiskey, light carriage for one or two people, pulled by one or two horses, tinamu, ground-dwelling South American bird, tinchel, circle of men who encircle a deer, tinction, act of dyeing, tinctorial, of, like or pertaining to dyeing, giving colour, tinct mutation, change of colour, tincture, a heraldic colour or metal, tingent, adding colour, having the ability to tinge, tinient, ringing, resonant, tinnitus, ringing sound in the head, tintinnabulate, to ring, to tinkle, tintinnabulum, percussion instrument of many bells in succession, tippet, long black scarf worn by Anglican clergy, tiqueur, one who suffers from ticks, tirailleur, skirmisher, sharpshooter, tirasse, pedal coupler in an organ, tiertain, wool cloth mixed with cotton or linen, tiro, recruit, novice, beginner, tirocinium, early training, first experience, group of recruits, tyromancy, divination using cheese, tisane, infusion of herbs or flowers, tisiki, wheezy, asthmatic, titaniferous, bearing titanium, titanism, spirit of revolt or defiance against social conventions, Titanomachy, War of the Titans against the Gods, TT, small South American arboreal monkey. Titian, red gold or reddish brown. Titivate, dress up, spruce up. Titrimetry, measuring by titration. Tittle, dot over the letter I or J. Tit up to prance mincingly, to walk in an affected manner. Titubate, to stagger, to stumble. Titulus, inscription on or over something. Timema, segment or section. Temesis, separation of word into parts by an intervening word. Toadstone, stone thought to grow inside a toad and have magic powers. Tobaccophile, one who loves tobacco. Tocodynamometer, instrument for measuring uterine contractions during childbirth. Tocology, obstetrics, midwifery. Tocophobia, fear of pregnancy or childbirth. Toxin, alarm bell, sounding of an alarm bell. Tod, old unit of weight of wool equal to 28 pounds. Tofor, previously beforehand. Toft, a small hill. Tog, unit of measurement for insulation properties of fabric. Togated, wearing a toga, dignified. Toile, plain or simple twilled fabric. Toisson, lamb's wool. Tolerationism, doctrine of toleration of religious differences. Tolcester, duty of ale due to one's lord for the privilege of brewing. Tolutation, act of pacing or ambling. Tolatiloquence, smooth or flowing speech. Toliputine, of like or pertaining to armadillos. Toman, myriad, 10,000. Tombac, cheap gold-coloured alloy of zinc and copper. Tombic, holding that the Egyptian pyramids were intended as tombs. Tombola, lottery in which each entrant must win a prize. Tomentos, bearing thickly matted hair or fur. Tomiferous, of organic matter, multiplying by division. Tomium, cutting edge of a bird's bill. Tomograph, instrument for viewing section of an object using X-rays. Tomography, scan to obtain detailed image of solid structure. Tomomania, irrational predilection for performing surgery. Ton, unit of cooling power equal to 12,000 British thermal units per hour. Tonant, thundering. Tondo, circular painting or relief carving. Tonetic, of, like or pertaining to tonal pronunciation or languages. Tonetics, study of pronunciation. Tonga, light two-wheeled carriage. Tonish, modish, fashionable. Tonitrophobia, fear of thunder. Tonitruone, musical instrument that imitates sound of thunder. Tonitruous, thundering. Tonlet, set of overlapping strips on armour skirt. Tonneau, rear extension of body of car. Tonometer, instrument measuring pitch of musical tones. Tonometer, instrument for measuring intraocular pressure. Tonsorial, of, like or pertaining to a barber or a barber's work. Tonsure, shaving of small area on the crown of a head of a priest or monk. Tontine, annuity scheme where benefits increase as members die. Tonus, normal elasticity of healthy muscle at rest. Tootle, nonsensical writing or speech. Topasthesia, determining place by sense of touch. Toparch, ruler of a district. Topaz, dark yellow. Topgallant, mast or sail above the topmast and below the royal mast. Topaceous, gritty. Topi, reddish-brown antelope of sub-Saharan Africa. Topiary, clipping of trees into imitative or fantastic shapes. Toplofty, high and mighty, haughty. Topmast, ship's mast above the lower mast. Topography, description of the features of a region. Topology, study of places and their natural features. Topomancy, divination using landforms. Toponomastic, of, like, or pertaining to place names. Toponym, place name derived from geographical feature. Toponymics, study of place names. Topophilia, great love or affection for a particular place. Topophobia, stage fright, fear of performing, fear of certain places. Topophone, instrument to determine direction and distance of a foghorn. Topotype, specimen collected in the same locality as an original. Topsail, ship's sail above the lowermost sail. Toran, arched gateway, or garland of flowers. Torchia, floor lamp with bowl for reflecting light upwards. Torsion, duster or dishcloth, coarse lace or paper. Torcular wine press. Torcular, tourniquet. Tordion, Renaissance dance similar to but slower than a galliard. Tor, surface described by rotation of conic section about a line. Torumatography, description of ancient metal sculpture. Torutics, artistic work in metal by chasing and embossing. Torfasus, growing in mosses or bogs. Tormentum, ancient siege engine. Tornote, having blunt extremities. Toroid, shaped like a donut or anchor ring. Torose, swelling, bulging. Knobby, muscular. Torpedinous, numbing, having the quality of a torpedo. Torpify, to make numb or torpid, to paralyze. Torpescence, becoming numb or torpid. Torpid, numb, lethargic, having lost the power to act. Torpillage, electric shock therapy. Torpor, numbness, inactivity, dullness. Torporific, causing dullness or numbness. Torquated, wearing a collar or chain, formed like a torque. Tor, unit of pressure equal to 1/760th of standard atmospheric pressure. Torrify, to scorch or parch, to dry or roast with heat. Torrentine, of, like or pertaining to a torrent, having the character of a torrent. Torsade, ornament on a hat like a twisted cord, any twisted cord. Torsal, plate in a brick wall to support the end of a beam. Torsibility, capability of being twisted. Torsiograph, instrument for recording torsional vibrations on an object. Torsive, twisted spirally. Torticollis, stiff neck. Tortile, wreathed, twisted, coiled. Tortuous, committing a wrongful deed. Torulose, with small swellings at intervals as torus. Rounded swelling, lowest moulding of a column. Torvity, grimness, fierceness. Torvus, stern. Tosh, rubbish, drivel, nonsense. Tosticated, fuddled, perplexed. Tot, bone or other object retrieved from garbage pile. Totemism, belief that a group has a special kinship with an object or animal. Tother, the other. Totidem verbis, in so many words. Totient, number of numbers less than and prime to a given number. Totipotent, capable of differentiation. Totitive, number less than and prime to another. Tourbillon, swirl, vortex, whirlwind. Tournure, contour, characteristic turn of line, grace or poise. Tovarish, comrade. Toe, bundle of untwisted natural fibres. Toxicogenic, producing or produced by poisons. Toxicomania, morbid craving for poisons. Toxicophagus, eating poison. toxicophobia, fear of poisoning, toxiferous, producing or bearing poison, toxiphagus, poison-eating, toxiphobia, fear of poison or being poisoned, toxophilite, lover of archery, an archer, of, like or pertaining to archery, toxophilie, love of archery, study of archery, toes, to tease out, card, comb, draw out, illicit, trabete, built of horizontal beams rather than arches, trabecula, small bar or rod, trabeculated, transversely barred, tracasserie, turmoil, trachelate, having a neck, trachiphonia, roughness of voice, tractate, treatise, tract, tractile, ductile, able to be drawn out, traditive, traditional, traduce, to defame, to slander, traductive, transmitted, tragedian, writer or actor of tragedy, tragelath, mythical crossbreed of a goat and stag, tragomascalia, smelly armpits, tragus, prominent bump in front of opening of the ear, traheson, treachery, treason, traject, crossing, ferry, transference, tralitition, metaphor, tralatitious, traditional, transmitted, handed on, metaphorical, tralineate, to deviate, tramble, to wash tin ore by agitation in a trough, trammel, device used to hold pots and pans over a fire, trammel, net used to catch fish or birds, trammel, to hamper or restrain, trammel, tool used for drawing ellipses, tramontane, beyond the mountains, foreign, uncivilized, tranation, act of swimming over or across, trancy, creating a trance-like effect, hypnotic, tranche, slice or block of money or shares, tranche, Neolithic flint chisel, tranect, ferry, trangum, showy or worthless article, trank, tranquilizer, transcalent, pervious to or allowing the passage of heat, transcendentalism, theory that emphasizes that which transcends perception, transenna, screen enclosing a shrine, transept, part of a church off to one side of main structure, transfluent, flowing across, tranship, to transfer from one ship to another, transhumant, passing from winter to summer pastures, transilient, leaping or passing across, transia, ship's customs warrant for clearing goods, translative, indicating process of change or movement through, translunary, beyond the moon, spiritual, transmarine, across or beyond the sea, transmigrationism, belief that soul passes into other body at death, transmissometer, instrument for measuring transmission of light through a fluid, transom, structure dividing a window horizontally, horizontal bar, transom, transverse timbers attached to ship's sternpost, transpicuous, transparent, easily seen through or understood, transpontine, from the other side of the river, melodramatic, transubstantiation, miraculous changing of bread and wine into body and blood of Christ, transude, to ooze out, to exude through the pores, transumption, transcription, transference, translation, transuranic, denoting heavy radioactive artificial chemical elements, transverberate, to pierce, transvolation, flying higher than normal, trap, light one-horse carriage with springs, trapezium, quadrilateral, having only one pair of parallel sides. Trapunto, kind of quilting in which only the design is padded. Traulism, stammering. Traumatology, study of wounds and their effects. Traumatropism, alteration in direction of growth of a plant due to a wound. Trautonium, electronic musical instrument like a theremin. Trav, crossbeam or space between crossbeams. Travelator, moving footpath for pedestrians. Traverse across crosswise, treacle, dark, syrupy molasses. Trebuchet, medieval siege engine for launching stones. Trichometer, instrument for determining distance travelled. Odometer. Treenail, long wooden pin used to fix planks of ship to the timbers. Trefoil, three-lobed architectural ornament. Tregator, juggler, trickster, deceiver. Treillage, trellis work, a trellis. Trellis, structure of crossbarred or lattice work. Tremor, an orifice, a diuresis. Tremolos gelatinous. Tremendum, feeling of overwhelming awe associated with religious experience. Tremisses, late Roman and early Byzantine gold coin. Tremogram, irregularity in a person's handwriting. Tremograph, instrument for recording involuntary muscular motion. Tremolist, one who employs tremolo. Tremolo, vibrating effect of certain musical instruments or the singing voice. Tremulous, trembling, quivering. Trenchant, incisive, terse, vigorous. Trencher, edible plate and platter made of bread. Trendle, flat-rounded baker's vessel. Trentle, commemoratory service held 30 days after burial. Trepan, obsolete instrument for cutting open the skull. Trepanation, cutting open the skull. Tresale, great-great-grandfather, tressellate, to quiver. Tresure, narrow band around a heraldic shield. Trews, close-fitting trousers with tartan pattern. Triage, selection for patients most likely to survive. Trialism, doctrine that humans have three separate essences, body, soul, spirit. Triarchy, government by three people. Triatic, rope joining adjacent mastheads. Tribade, female homosexual, lesbian. Tribadism, lesbian intercourse in the missionary position. Tribble, horizontal frame with wires for drying paper. Tribology, study of friction and wear between surfaces. Triboluminescence, emission of light caused by friction. Tribometer, instrument measuring friction. Tribuloid, yielding prickly fruit. Tribunicial, of, like or pertaining to a tribune. Tributorian, of, like or pertaining to tribute or payment. Trice, to haul in and lash secure a sail with a small rope. Tricephalus, having three heads. Trichoclasis, brittleness of hair. Trichogenous, producing hair. Trichoic, having or exhibiting three colours. Trichoid, hair-like. Trichology, study of hair and its disorders. Trichoschisis, splitting of hair. Trichosis, arrangement, distribution or disorder of hair. Trichotillomania, neurosis where patient pulls out own hair. Trichotomy, division into three parts or categories. Tricoaster, combination of 3-speed gear and coaster brake on a cycle. Tricolette, silk or rayon knitted fabric. Tricorn, three-horned, three-cornered. Tricot, plain knitted silk or woolen fabric. Tricotee, lively old dance. Tricotine, double-twilled worsted fabric. Tridominium, threefold rule. Tridion, lasting 3 days. Triduum, period of 3 days of prayer preceding Roman Catholic feasts. Triarchy, obligation of fitting out ships. Triateric, occurring in alternate years. Trifarius, facing 3 ways. Triforium, gallery or arcade over an aisle, gallery over nave and choir. Trifurcate, to divide into 3 forks. Trig, stone placed under a wheel to keep it from rolling. Trigamy, state of being married to 3 spouses. Triglyph, architectural ornament of tablet bearing 2 V-shaped channels. Trigon, ancient Greek triangular harp. Trigonal, having 3 angles. Trigonometer, instrument for solving triangles. Trigraph, combination of 3 letters for 1 sound. Trihoral, happening every 3 hours. Trelemina, having 3 layers. Trilemma, quandary having 3 choices. Trilith, stone monument of 2 upright and 1 transverse slab. Trimacula, having 3 spots or marks. Trimerous, having the parts in 3s. Trin, triplet. Trinacriform, 3-pronged. Trindle, thin piece of wood which holds book spine while trimmed. Tringoid, of, like or pertaining to sandpipers. Trinoctial, lasting 3 nights. Trionym, name consisting of 3 words. Triphibius, taking place on land, in water and in air. Triphthong, 3 vowel sounds pronounced as 1. Triplopia, triple vision. Tripit, part of machine which strikes another part regularly. Tripsis, pulverization, shampooing, massage. Triptote, used in 3 cases only. Triptych, hinged painting with 3 panels. Tripudiate, to dance for joy, to exult, to stamp. Triquetra, triangular-shaped object. Trireme, ancient ship with 3 banks of oars. Triskaidekaphobia, fear of the number 13. Triskelion, figure of 3 radiating curves or legs. Trismus, lockjaw. Tristachius, 3-spiked. Tristicus, having or in 3 rows. Tristiloquy, mournful manner of speech. Tristicinus, mournful sounding. Trisulcate, having 3 ridges or forks. Tritanopia, inability to distinguish the colour blue. Tritarchy, government by 3 people. Triarchy. Tritavia, 4 greats grandmother. Tritavus, 4 greats grandfather. Tritheism, belief that the members of the Trinity are separate gods. Tritheocracy, government by 3 gods. Tritical, trite, common. Triticious, wheat-like. Triticism, trite remark. Triturate, to rub or grind into a fine powder. Triumphalism, belief in the superiority of one particular religious creed. Triune Trinity, 3 in 1. Trivet, tripod for a pot, metal plate to raise food from heat. Trivagate, having 3 linear marks. Trote, to bellow like a roaring buck. Trockle, wheel-like, circular. Trochemeter, instrument counting wheels' revolutions. Trociferous, bearing a wheel or wheel-like organ. Trochiform, shaped like a spinning top. Trochilic, of, like or pertaining to rotatory motion. Trochilidine, of, like or pertaining to hummingbirds. Trochiline, of, like or pertaining to hummingbirds. Trociscus, medicated tablet or lozenge. Trochlea, like a pulley. Trochoid, curve traced by a fixed point in plane of a circle. Trochomancy, divination by studying wheel tracks. Troglodytic, cave dwelling. Troglodytine, of, like or pertaining to wrens. Trogon, tropical bird with brilliant plumage. troika, carriage drawn by 3 horses, troilism, sexual activity between 3 people, troll, to sing heartily, to sing the succession of parts of a musical round, trommel, revolving sieve for cleaning or sizing minerals, tremometer, instrument for measuring slight earthquake shocks, tronc, collection of gratuities to be divided out later, trope, any figure of speech, figurative language, trophallaxis, mutual exchange of nutriment in symbiosis, trophism, nutrition, trophobiosis, exchange of nutriment in symbiotic relationship, trophology, study of nutrition, trophotropism, direction of growth by nutritional factors, tropic, like a keel, tropism, a tendency to react to stimuli in a specific manner, tropological, characterized by tropes or figures of speech, tropology, figurative language, moral interpretation of the Bible, tropometer, instrument measuring rotation, tropophilus, flourishing in seasonal extremes of climate, tropophyte, plant adapted to alterations of moisture and drought, trottoir, pavement, trousseau, clothes collected by a bride for her marriage, trouvaille, a fortunate find, trover, legal action brought to recover goods from wrongful owner, truquage, faking of works of art, trucidation, slaughter, truckle, to submit, to cringe, truculent, belligerent, cruel, pugnacious, defiant, aggressive, trulization, act of plastering with a trowel, trumeau, piece of wall or pillar between 2 openings, trumpery, deception, trickery, showy nonsense, truncheon, broken spear, broken or cut piece, trunnion, a pin or pivot on which something can be rotated, trutinate, to weigh using a balance, to evaluate mentally, tritaceous, of, like or pertaining to trout, trimer, nut-like fruit, trypanoside, killing of trypanosomes, trysail, ship's sail bent to a gaff and hoisted on the lower mast, tsesebe, Central African antelope with lyre-shaped horns, tsiganology, study of gypsies, tsiology, treatise on tea, tuant, of writing, keen or trenchant, tuatara, spiny reptile of New Zealand with vestigial third eye, tuberiferous, bearing tubers, tubriform, shaped like a lump or protuberance, tuberous, having tubers, knobbed, tubicinate, to blow a trumpet, tubiculus, inhabiting a tube, tubicornus, hollow-horned, tubefacient, constructing a tube, tubiform, shaped like a tube, tubulate, to form into a tube, to provide with a tube, tubular, tubular opening, tuck, part of ship where ends of lower planks meet under the stern, tucket, flourish on a trumpet, tucutucu, rat-like burrowing South American rodent, tufa, rock made of fine volcanic detritus, tuft hunter, toady, tui, armour plate hanging below the tasses, tuism, apostrophe, reference to or regard to a second person, tuism, theory that individuals have a second or other self, tuitive, giving instruction, acquired by instruction, tulsion, calf's skin set beside a cow to make her give milk freely, tulipomania, obsession with tulips, tule, sheer and delicate thin silk, tumblehome, inward curve of upper parts of sides of a ship, tumbrel, old instrument of punishment like a pillory, tumefacient, causing swelling, tumefi to swell, tumescent, tending to swell, tumid, inflated, falsely sublime, bombastic, tumorigenic, producing tumours, tum-tum, dog-cart, tumular, consisting of a mound or tumulus, tumultuary, chaotic, haphazard, tumulus, barrow mound, mound of earth over a grave, tunned, to beat, to thump, tunicate, covered with layers, tunicle, short ecclesiastical vestment worn by bishop or subdeacon, tup, ram, pile driver, striking face of steam hammer or jackhammer, turaco, crested African colourful bird with long tail and red wings, turpery, right to take peat from another's ground, turbidimeter, instrument for measuring turbidity of liquids, turbinate, shaped like a top or inverted cone, turdiform like a thrush, turdine, of, like or pertaining to thrushes, turgent, swollen, turgescence, act or process of swelling, swollenness, turgid, swollen, inflated, turgometer, instrument for measuring turgidity, turncock, valve for regulating water flow, ternary, art of turning in a lathe, turnspit, person who turns a roasting spit, turnvreen, athletic club, turophile, cheese lover, turquoise, blue-green, turricle, of, like or pertaining to a tower or turret, like a turret, turriferous, bearing towers, turriform, shaped like a tower, turtleback structure over ship's bows or stern, tusa, brownish silk fabric, tussicular, of, like or pertaining to coughs, tussock, a compact tuft of grass or sedge, tutelary, having the guardianship of a thing, tutiorism, doctrine that one should take the safer moral course, tutulus, conical Roman headdress, tusa, Mexican pouched rodent, twaddle, rubbish, nonsense, twain two, twee, affectedly dainty, sentimentally sweet, twiforked, bifurcate, twingle, to wriggle, to twist, twink, to blink, to twinkle, twinter, 2-year-old domestic animal, twire, to peep, to leer, twixt, between, twizzle, to swirl, to spin, two-step, ballroom dance with 2 main steps, twire, nozzle for a blast of air, tychism, theory that accepts role of pure chance, tie, inclined trough for washing oar, tyloma, callous, tympaniform, drum-like, shaped like a drum, tympanum, space within an arch, arched recess at entrance of cathedral, tympany, swelling with pride or with pregnancy, typhlograph, instrument to help the blind write clearly, typhlology, study of blindness and the blind, typhlophile, one who is kind to the blind, typhogenic, causing fever, typhomania, delirious state resulting from typhus fever, typhonic, having the character of a whirlwind or tornado, typographia, matter pertaining to printing or printers, typography, art of printing or using type, typology, study of types of things, typomania, craze for printing one's lucubrations, typothete, master printers collectively, tiptology, theory concerning rappings by spirits or ghosts, tyrannicide, killing or killer of a tyrant, tyriasis, elephantiasis, thyroid, resembling cheese, cheesy. Tyroma, cheese-like matter. Tyromancy, divination using cheese. You've just wandered through a quiet garden of forgotten words, each one a whisper, a rhythm, a resting place for your thoughts. There's no need to remember them. They were here only to guide you, gently, into stillness. If you're still awake, that's okay. Just let the silence wrap around you now. And when sleep comes, let it be soft and full of wonder. Good night.